Hey everybody, 4 and 6 Psych back again. Something a little different for this episode. Wanted to finish talking about the stuff from Madmole, but I didn't want to lose time in my other game because the Alpha 14, or the 14-day horde is coming, and I wanted to make sure that I had the rest of that time to get used to that. So I dropped into Navsgain world and just came and climbed up on top of the barn next to the farm. Gonna finish talking about the stuff that Madmole had to say, and then, just as a thank you for paying attention and listening to me ramble on, we'll do something special. So, where we left off was water physics, female players, drop all button. We talked about cars with alarms, throwable weapons like the Molotov cocktail. Yeah, he talked about that a little bit. You could have throwing knives, you could excuse me, but it's going to take physics to figure out and a lot of extra work. Molotov cocktails, they got to get fire working properly first before they could do that. So yeah, he wasn't too sure about whether or not that was going to happen. um, yeah, it's hard to say. He just kind of doubted it. um, Let's see, mounted weapons. We talk about that. He did say that some heavier weapons are coming. So that that's coming up. Um, Shopping carts that move. But okay. So he was okay with shopping carts that moved, but he said they really had to have a better framework first. Um, for moving things. So for now, mini bike was as good as we were gonna get. If they get a better framework set up for doing stuff that moved, like the mining cart we talked about and the shopping cart, then that's something that might be able to be added later on, but certainly not 15, and definitely not 15, and certainly probably not 16. Um, let's see. Somebody asked if the drawbridges could have some kind of a remote control or something so that you could uh, open them from the outside of the base, or some kind of control panel so that friends could open them, that kind of thing. Um, and he said, well, yeah, they're lockable, and you just got to have the password for them. So he wasn't sure why it was really needed to make some kind of a control panel when all you had to do is lock it. Um, oh, yeah. So here's another thing. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? But somebody brought up gyrocopters, and apparently a model has been built for a gyrocopter. And yeah, he was saying he loves the idea of the gyrocopter. He'd like to see it in the game. He'd love to be able to fly around and buzz zombies and all that. He said, but it's a long ways off. When they get time, maybe. The rest of the pimps want it, and so whatever. I don't know. I think it's going to be way too overpowered, but we'll see. Um, Somebody asked about skill synergies. In other words, having bonuses to one skill by getting a certain level in another. He said that he really liked that idea. He thought it was a great idea, but there were no plans for that at the moment. So, you might get, I don't know, farming, for instance. If they built some stuff around farming and they built some stuff around cooking, so that if you had a cooking skill and you got to certain levels, um, the food would give you less hunger, or it would take longer before you started to get hungry again, that kind of thing. And the synergy might be if you had farming and you brought that skill up to the point where you were growing some really fantastic vegetables, the farming skill might actually give you a bonus or a buff or a bump to your cooking skills. So mining and forging, that kind of thing, where you might find some natural synergy. Um, let's see. More tools, flare gun, grass trimmer, that kind of thing. He said there were no plans now. He just improved the hoe. The hoe works a lot better now and does a better job. And you can use that to take grass out. So for now, there's no plans, but other tools may become available as they see a need for them. He said the bike is modeled and will probably come out. He wasn't sure if it was going to be Alpha 15 or not. So let's see. Somebody asked if there was ever going to be mountains in Random Gen that are super tall, and stone mountains that you could mine, for instance. So you might have a giant Rockies style stone mountain with the snow-capped, excuse me, snow-capped peak, and leading down to pine forest, that kind of thing. He kind of liked the idea, and yet he wasn't sure that was going to happen with distant terrain coming out. Once they get that all squared away, maybe they'd work on that a little bit. He would like to kind of see that, but the world does have a ceiling as well that has to be dealt with. So, yeah, that's something they're going to have to figure out. You can only go so high before, for instance, I built a tower once, and it was super high, really super high. And when I got done building it, I logged off. The next time I logged in, I had lost like 20 blocks worth of height because it cut it off. So they're going to have to deal with the ceiling and contend with that. Sleep and fatigue we talked about. Let's see. He said the game is about to turn nasty, and that the difficulty will increase dynamically as you get more powerful. Somebody asked, with the economy coming into place, will you have passive ways to get income, like rent from NPCs if they move into your base? Could you charge them rent? Having them grow vegetables and then putting them into a vending machine to sell, that kind of thing. Let's see. No, he didn't see any kind of economy system like that where you could charge rent or anything, but you might be able to get them to help you fight and be able to recruit them to walk guard duty. You might be able to get them to grow food, plant crops, and that kind of thing. Skill system for cooking so that higher levels of food give better buffs, better fullness, wellness, that kind of stuff. He thought that was a good idea. Let's see. I said he thought it was a good idea, but he wasn't giving anything away right now. He was kind of beating around the bush on that one. So that might be something that's already in the works. Somebody asked about camouflage for buildings and clothes. He said maybe that would be possible. He had built the camouflage netting that you can find in like army bases and stuff, but had not necessarily done much with it beyond that. Um, will they ever find the airstrip that the plane takes off from? He said no, probably not. He didn't envision that becoming a thing. Looks like I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna eat a sandwich and drink some tea while we're talking here. Yeah. So he kind of doubts that we're gonna find the plane. Um, let's see. As far as being on track for release, he likes being in alpha. He likes the constant change of the game and making it better and that kind of thing. So he wasn't so sure, but he thinks that they're on track to go PC Gold next year and possibly even release next year. He wasn't sure about that. Lighting. He'd like to see lighting reworked, at least a little bit, because it's hard to control the lighting in a building. For some areas are just super freaking dark, and then other areas are super freaking bright, and so it's kind of hard to deal with that sometimes. But again, he said, the best way to control lighting is to use moderation. Use candles instead of torches and floodlights. Turn your headlight on and off. That kind of thing. There's ways that you can control light. However, he did see that there was some imbalance in the light, and they would like to kind of see that brought in hand. Somebody asked about food spoiling, and he said no, that's probably not going to happen because food is stacked. Is just because one thing is older than another, you're going to have the whole stack go bad. How would you control what's going bad, what's not? It would really mess up inventory, he thought. So, yeah. Um, he said that food isn't going to spoil. He didn't see an easy way to handle that in game, and that food is going to be a bit more of a challenge in Alpha 15. So, going bad is not in the works for the food. And then gun customization, silencers, and etc. Maybe they'd look at that later on, if they could. He thought, it's kind of a good idea. If you were fighting zombies and you could get a silence gun, certainly you would want that over a regular gun. So, something that they might look at. And that was it. I think that was the end of his talk for that one. We're at about 13 minutes into this video. I intended this one just to be a little bit short and to just kind of be a way to finish that off without taking away from my day 14 prep. So with no further ado, I'm going to see if I can pop the surprise from here without looking, but we'll see. Oh yeah. Good Lord, we blew a hole in the world. Well, that was neat. Didn't go as planned, but it was still pretty neat. I'm not sure. Maybe those frames just weren't rendering. But that whole building was full of TNT. And it should have just, boom, gone off. I was trying to set off those upper floors. Did make a neat hole. That's awesome. Look where all these blocks and chunks fell out here. And the yeah, our heat hit 45.0. So yeah, we did manage to attract a couple of witches. And we freaked out a deer. Looks like we had a little mineral. Wow, you're just not happy, are you? He's stupid. You realize you're going the wrong way, right? I had kind of cleaned this area out a little bit better before. But I think it's kind of interesting that we didn't get more coming in than that. I expected to see a lot more. Alright. I guess that about does it for this. We talked about everything we needed to talk about. The next episode, I think, is 32 for the survival series, the tutorial series. And that is going to be coming up shortly after this one. I just wanted to finish this out. And now that we have, I guess we're good to go. I can go back to my regular world and quit cheating, as it were. Hello, dear. Alright, 4 and 6 signing out. If you liked this video, click the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Introduce yourself down below in the comments. Start a conversation in the comments section. And bring up questions. Talk about what you've seen here. Give me your opinions on stuff. That's what we're hoping for. And if you have friends, invite them to come and take a look at the channel and give us likes, post some comments, that kind of thing. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, and see you for day 14 and hopefully the day 14 horde in the next video. Thanks, folks. See ya.